Conferences mean circle dates, colors, community, history.
We were supposed to do that.
Don't even remotely be satisfied.
Lifelong memories made with rivalries reborn, year after year, like this year. Now the time has come for tickets to be punched and titles won.
Tags it home! Yes! For the win! He got it!
Welcome to Champions.
Nothing's gonna stop me, no one's gonna take my crown.
You're watching ESPN's Champ Week, presented by Principal. This is the WCC Men's Basketball Championship. From what feels like the center of the college basketball world this week, Las Vegas, Nevada. We're inside the Orleans Arena, and it is title night, the championship game of the WCC. The #1 seed regular season champs, the St. Mary's Gales, taking on the 2 seed red-hot Gonzaga Bulldogs. These two teams both won in very impressive fashion last night. St. Mary's took care of a talented Santa Clara squad, and then a really good San Francisco team just got blitzed by Gonzaga in the second half. So we've got the 1-2 matchup that everybody wants to see. And so often we see here in Vegas in the WCC, St. Mary's and Gonzaga. Hi, everybody. Dave Fleming, Sean Farnham. And it is true. The history of this rivalry in this tournament and specifically in this championship game is basically unmatched.
Yeah, it is second to none, really. I mean, tonight is the 14th time that these two programs have met up in the WCC title game. That ties North Carolina and Duke all time for most meetings in a conference championship final. It's going to be fantastic. It's the best rivalry in the West Coast. It has been for a long time.
I mean, truly think about that. That's amazing. And for St. Mary's, they win the regular season title. It's been a great year for the Gales. They have their hands full with Gonzaga. Zags are playing so well. Last night's win, keyed by their backcourt, Ryan Nemhard and Nolan Hickman, were awesome.
Mark Few told us a couple weeks ago that, you know what, we're going to have to shrink our bench, and our guards might have to play as many minutes as those guards that St. Mary's have for a long time. And he went to those guards last night. Both of them played the full game, and Hickman and Nemhard. The numbers to look at, the points is obviously impressive. To me, it's the 18-0 assist-to-turnover ratio. Jay Will back in studio would tell you, you're going to win a lot of games when your guards are sharing it that well.
Amazing. Alex Dukas, meanwhile, for St. Mary's tonight, ties the all-time Gales record for most games played in a career. And maybe the best game he's ever played came last night in the semis.
Well, they're going to need him to do it again. His leadership, his upperclassman status, he came out on fire. Hit 6 threes in the first half, finished 7 of 11 from deep, 21 points. They need him and Aiden Mahaney to be the scorers and be assertive early in this game to try to loosen up the interior of that defense to allow Mitchell Saxon opportunities to score. But I think you lean on a guy like Alex Dukas. He's been through so much over the course of his career at St. Mary's. He had the back issue last year that took him out of the NCAA tournament. They're going back. Both these teams are in the field. But it's about the rivalry. It's about respect, and it's about the fact they split both the first 2 meetings, and they know that each other are really good teams, and this is a measuring stick before they get to the NCAA tournament.
Gales won in Spokane. Zags won in Moraga. So now the rubber match on a neutral court here in Las Vegas, and here we go.
We're going to re-tip that.
I think we should. That was not the proper way to start a championship game. Ike and Saxon.
Neither was that one. 2 of the worst tips I've ever seen in the history of basketball. Welcome to championship night.
You never know what you're going to see. Zags come up with the ball, so they've got it first.
I think they try to establish Ike early. He did not have a huge game last night. Snapped a streak of 7 consecutive 20-point games. They didn't get Mitchell Saxon in foul trouble. That hurts the interior and the rebounding presence that St. Mary's can bring.
Tough pass, and St. Mary's comes away with a steal. So you mentioned the no turnovers last night for the Gonzaga backcourt already in this championship game. A turnover for Nemhard.
The turnovers were an issue in that game in Moraga, but it was an issue for St. Mary's. They were loose with the ball and allowed Gonzaga to play out in front of the defense.
I figure that's a big key tonight for the Gales. Saxon gives it up to Marshallonis, who saw the St. Mary's starting 5. No Joshua Jefferson, out for the year, one of their best players. Dukas, nice pass, and Saxon with the dunk for the first bucket of the night.
Good patience, good poise, good pacing for St. Mary's on their opening possession.
Meanwhile, this starting five, they made the change, and the season took off when Ben Gregg came into the starting lineup. They have been almost unstoppable since then. Ike scores to answer.
Well, he's been an unstoppable force by himself, but that relationship between him and Nemhard has been so essential. And Ben Gregg has just been an energy giver. He's a winner, and that's the one thing that Ben Gregg provides. He tracks down rebounds out of area. He'll dive on the floor. He's in the right coverage positions to make sure he's plugging gaps and not allowing their defense to break down.
A really good move by Saxon, but then he missed the shot. So now Anton Watson gives it up. Nemhard passed up the three. And Gonzaga will reset. Year after year, St. Mary's, one of the best defensive teams in the country. Saxon kind of anchors that, the defensive player of the year in this conference. He's going to try to stop Ike one-on-one. A little jump shot is short.
Now, those are the kind of shots. You take a contested 15-foot shot. Those are the ones that Randy Bennett would like to see Ike attempting more frequently.
Here's Saxon again. He's been very aggressive on the first few possessions.
And Alex Duke is finding him. A very good pass across the key as he rolled from the screen on that weak side.
That's 2 assists already for Dukas in the first couple minutes. Nolan Hickman down low. Watson had it knocked away. And a steal by Dukas. So another Gonzaga turnover. Mason Forbes got a hand on that. Mason taking Josh Jefferson's place in the St. Mary's starting lineup. Dukas tried to thread the needle again, and this time he bounced it off of Saxon and out of bounds. There's the future Hall of Famer Mark Few, 25th year in Spokane as the head coach. And I don't think there are many seasons where Mark in season has done a better job than this year.
The adjustment to the start of the year, I felt like they were trying to establish Anton Watson like this was his time. He'd been patient. He'd been waiting. But as the season went on, they started playing more with Nemhard, more with Ike, and the team really took off.
Steal by Marshallonis. And maybe a rare breakout for St. Mary's, going all the way, but the layup was no good. Ben Gregg came back to help out on defense. Nemhard down the lane, bounces it to Ike, who scores.
Now you get Ike with 2 feet in the paint that deep because of dribble penetration. Your defense is almost impossible to stop number 13.
It's not been an exaggeration to say he has been the most dominant big man in the country over these last few weeks. Mahaney, open three, got it. After Gonzaga went for the steal, Mahaney hits his first shot.
It's just huge that he took the shot. I mean, he has deferred in the first half so frequently at times that you wonder why in the second half does he always step up. Tonight's a game where he's got to establish himself early.
Nemhard trying to bounce one down low, and that's another Gonzaga turnover.
They're playing careless basketball right now at the offensive end.
Totally different than the way they played in last night's win.
Dave, they only had 3 turnovers in 40 minutes the other night. They have 4 already tonight.
Easy. Part of that is playing against St. Mary's. It is different. Down low, Forbes passes to Saxon, a little shot fake, and he got fouled by Ike. So, quick start for the Gales. Saxon will be at the free throw line when we come back to Las Vegas. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal. Let's build a retirement and benefits plan that works for your team. It's not an exaggeration, I don't think, to say that nothing means Champ Week more, nothing says Champ Week more than St. Mary's against Gonzaga in Las Vegas. And we got another matchup this year in this championship game, 7-4 Gales. Off to a good start. After the game last night, it was interesting what Alex Dukas said, wasn't it?
Yes, credit to the Zags. They're a good squad, but I don't think they won the game. I think we lost the game last time at home. If anything, we hope they win this game right now. We can't wait to see them next. Well, you got them next, and that's... You know, we've seen some quotes in the past, whether it's Omar Samhan, Rob Sacre, who's doing a great job, by the way, being a high school coach in the Spokane area, took his team to the state playoffs, so congratulations to Rob. But this rivalry, there is respect, but there's also this edge to it. And that's what makes the rivalry so good, because Gonzaga's knocked off everybody. Their amount of success in this conference has been really unparalleled. Until Randy Bennett came along, and all of a sudden, this pesky little team out of Moraga, California, started being a thorn in the side a little bit to Gonzaga. And it has created some outstanding matchups over the years. You and I have been so fortunate to be in this building, sitting here, really since 2010.
Yeah, we've seen so many of these title game matchups. Hickman, off the pass from Nembhard, found an opening and got the bucket.
That's how they got him going to start the second half last night. If you remember, they came off a little curl action, got him going towards the bucket.
Now St. Mary's has it. Dukas, a long three, a little too strong. Forbes hustles after the offensive rebound, and then Nembhard reached in and fouled him. The head coach of the Gales, 23rd year. I mean, really, in this league, it's almost like Coach K against Dean Smith when these two are on the sideline. You talked about Duke, Carolina. St. Mary's and Gonzaga have now tied Duke and Carolina most all-time in the history of college basketball conference championship matchups.
And they've been on the sideline for each and every one of them.
Both these guys have been there for all of them.
Like that Carolina-Duke goes back to 1940 when they were in the SoCon.
Shot no good for St. Mary's, so now Ike has it on the low block. Well, Saxon forced him into a really difficult shot, but out of bounds off of St. Mary's.
And both coaches just in the last decade plus, top 10 winning percentages in all of college basketball. Mark Few, 25 consecutive NCAA tournaments when their name gets called. And Randy Bennett, their team gets to the tournament and advances in the tournament.
Hickman feeds Ike. Ike along the baseline, in and out. Popped out. Greg almost stripped it away from Mahaney. Now Saxon knocks Ike over. They're calling a blocking foul.
That'll be Ike's second personal foul.
Wow, that's big.
That's a huge development for a player that prior to last night had gone 7 straight games, averaging 23+ points, shooting 65% from the field. He's been a big part of how Gonzaga has played down the stretch of this season, and he's going to go to the bench and puts Braden Huff in a situation where he's going to have to guard Mitchell Saxon. And there's been times in Moraga in particular, they did a great job. They spaced him to the corner and got him some three-point shots, but Mitchell Saxon starts to go to work when he sees Braden Huff.
In a lot of ways, the 2 games in the regular season were determined by the Huff minutes. Up in Spokane, St. Mary's took it right to him and extended their lead. Huff now, who's a really talented offensive player. But you're right, in Moraga, he played really well. Hickman, tough runner, short, and Forbes grabs a defensive rebound. So this will be interesting while Graham Ike is on the bench. And how long does Mark Few keep him over there? There's 14 minutes left in the first half. Mahaney drives, ducks under, and flips it up and in off the glass.
That's a strong move by Aiden Mahaney, staying on balance, playing off a 2.
So far, so good for St. Mary's. Anton Watson might have to be a little more assertive now on the offensive end. He missed from close range. Saxon grabbed the rebound, just got clocked right in the chest.
St. Mary's doing a good job, though, on all of these shot attempts, Dave. They're staying between the basket and the person attempting the shot. They're not giving any seams right now, with the exception of Nolan Hickman's layup off that curl cut, where they've had a clean look.
Augustus Marcellonis, we haven't talked about him much so far. He finds Saxon. Another layup for the big man, and Mark Few is going to call a timeout.
He has to call a timeout. And as I said, as soon as Ike went to the bench, that's Mitchell Saxon time. And you've got to attack Braden Huff, and you've got to be aggressive and assertive. And everybody, it's not just about Mitchell understanding, it's everybody on the floor with him. Mahaney, excellent up and under move to finish, but Mitchell Saxon, back-to-back buckets. And the Gales are up by 9 here in Las Vegas over the Gonzaga Bulldogs.
Well, the Gales, the #1 seed, the regular season champs, right now have firm control of this game. 9-point lead, 13-11 on the clock. First half, a long way to go, but the star big man for Gonzaga on the bench with 2 fouls, Graham Ike. And St. Mary's has 10 of their 15 points in the paint. Ryan Nembhard, pull up, is good.
Playing so confident, so smooth. But that number you just said about the points in the paint, remember Gonzaga is tied with Arizona for the most points in the paint this whole college basketball season. They love to live in the paint, and if you can get there and have that kind of success, you start breaking down the defense real easy.
And I think your point is such a good one. Without EK, Mitchell Saxon, he's telling his bench, keep feeding me, because he is dominating right now on the interior. Pass deflected by Marciulionis, just rejected it into the backcourt. Nembhard trying to thread it, and he did. What a pass.
Great pass, good finish, quick release from Anton Watson to get it off the glass before Mitchell Saxon could get over to get it.
Well, I mean, you have to think the Gales are going back inside.
We've got Ben Gregg on Mitchell Saxon right now, so can you lift Mason Forbes and let his athleticism cause some issues? He's there on the roll right now.
Yeah, he's just going to drive it, and his bounce pass toward Saxon goes out of bounds.
That's an overpass. That's an overpass. He's got to go up and take that shot and force the back line of that defense to step to him. Mitchell Saxon, though, taking over this contest. Missed layup by Marciulionis. Mitchell Saxon, one of the best offensive rebounders in the country, got up above the rim, able to finish it. And a beautiful thread pass by Ryan Nembhard to find Anton Watson. It's championship on a Tuesday night in Vegas. I love it.
All right, it's time for Expert Moves, brought to you by Principal. Right now, the guy who's looking expert down in the low block is Mitchell Saxon.
Doing a great job of shaping up, having his hands ready, receiving the ball, playing strong off the two, not fading away, not getting away from the contact, initiating that contact. Physical by nature, 5 of 7 from the floor, 12 of the 17 have come from Mitchell Saxon early in this contest.
He only had 9 points last night. He averaged 11.5 per game during the year. He's a very efficient big man, not usually a big scoring big man. So he's already over his season average in the first 8 minutes of this championship game.
Zags right now defensively have not been able to slow down St. Mary's at all. 64% shooting for the first 8 minutes of this game by the Gales.
Gonzaga has at least cut off the turnovers. Those were coming fast and furious in the first few minutes of this game. Gonzaga has the ball. Luke Barrett in off the bench for St. Mary's, their first substitution. Both these teams are not going to use the bench real extensively. Watson attacks, flips it to Huff. Huff with the right hand, that's his offhand. That's a nice move.
He's just got a knack around the basket. He just throws it up, it just goes in. And he's going to get better and better. His trajectory for this program continues to increase.
Just a redshirt freshman. He was a big part of Gonzaga's win late in the year at Rupp Arena against Kentucky. Was not overmatched or intimidated going in there. Mahaney, what a tough shot.
Mahaney 3 for 3 now from the field.
That's a great sign for St. Mary's, because you said it, he's been such a slow starter. In so many of these games, the first half, he's been almost non-existent offensively. Hickman. Watson almost had it stripped away. Mason Forbes can guard. He is a good defensive player. Now Hickman pinned along the baseline, trying to find somewhere to go with the ball. It's Huff. He picked up his dribble. A launch from Watson, short, and the defensive board for the Gales.
Really good defensive possession. And I just love the positioning in which the Gales are playing right now. They're not getting beat, even though showing hard on screens, and they're getting back and making plays.
Well, Forbes found Mahaney wide open. He missed it. Offensive rebound. Saxon had it ripped away. Ben Gregg just took it from him. Here's Hickman, and Marciulionis fouled him in the open court. So no layup, foul before the pass.
Really good play by Ben Gregg. That previous possession, though, aggressive move from Aiden Mahaney. At times, Aiden Mahaney can be a little bit frustrating to watch, because you see this skill set that he has offensively, the knack to be an elite level scorer. And when he defers, you're like, do you know what you're capable of doing? And tonight he has come out very aggressive, and often we see that only in the second half. He's come out early here. We'll see if he can maintain it.
Justin Stromer, freshman for Gonzaga, comes in. So that'll give Ben Gregg a rest, which means Maybe more of a challenge to match up with Saxon. Huff's three-pointer was an air ball, out of bounds. Well, you don't have to remind Gonzaga
They're calling it was tipped.
Wow. Huh. Okay. So St. Mary's got a piece of it. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Halfway through the first half. Watson against Dukas. Anton Watson, tough move. Bodies flying everywhere.
Anton Watson has the ability to take over games. We saw it even in Maui. The games that were played in Honolulu against UCLA. He had a huge night in that contest. And there's been a couple of games, Santa Clara this year, and the loss. They need him right now with Graham Ike on the bench to be assertive and be aggressive around the basket.
I need this guy, Nemhard. Nemhard left his feet. Found Hickman. Three. No. Another good rebound by Saxon. Well, Gonzaga feels like they've stabilized this game a little bit. They're only down 5 despite all the good things St. Mary's has done.
Saxon with 12.6 rebounds already in this game.
Mahaney, good look. Barrett will try it again. Luke Barrett misses again. He's just way off right now from three-point range.
But he's not hesitating. And he's, at times over the last couple of games, he's been hesitant from beyond the arc.
How about that little volleyball punch by Watson? But then Nemhard, I don't know where Ryan Nemhard was going there. Very uncharacteristic from him. Mahaney's driving against Stromer. They call the offensive foul. So Mahaney gets called for the push-off. I didn't think that call was coming.
I thought Aiden Mahaney was going to go to the line. He got his shoulders beneath, lower than the hips of Dusty Stromer, who's reaching in and holding him. That is not an offensive foul. That is a defensive foul, and Aiden Mahaney should be at the line.
Oh, that felt like a break for the Zags. Nemhard, three.
Got it.
Good.
He's been playing so well as the lead guard, and his understanding of the offense, understanding his role, the transfer from Creighton, played in the Elite Eight a season ago. He's adopted and understood this offense and grown into that role as the season has gone along.
Well, they're basically daring Luke Barrett to shoot. He didn't shoot it this time. Marciulionis will drive against Huff. Got cut off, and that's a reach-in foul against Gonzaga, which will take us to a timeout on the floor.
The Gonzaga Bulldogs clawing their way back into a game that St. Mary's jumped out to a 9-point lead early. No Ike on the floor. Look for number 0 to continue to be aggressive and try to make plays. He's been outstanding over the last 14.
Now those games are so cool. The so-called one-bid leagues, you never quite know, but overtime of a championship game with a tournament berth on the line.
And Champ Week is where anything can happen. You take a look at the tickets punched on the left-hand side here in this building earlier today. Gonzaga women's team, which was undefeated in conference play, has had an unbelievable season. Absolutely throttled Stanford earlier this year. Lost to Portland, a team that they beat by seemingly 1,000,000 points in the 2 games combined. And Portland showed up and took a bid tonight into the NCAA tournament. Coach Meek and the Pilots had a huge win. They're celebrating somewhere in Las Vegas right now. We'll be punching a ticket later on tonight.
So out of the timeout, St. Mary's has the ball. Gales have led by as many as 9, having a hard time getting it in here. Lead, though, is down to 2. Mason Forbes. Gonzaga's defense right now really sagging off 2 different Gales players. Marciulionis up and under. And Gonzaga comes away with the ball. Could tie or go ahead. Nemhard. Mahaney did a good job of cutting him off. Watson thinking about getting the ball down low to Ben Gregg. Instead, Watson will get it from Nemhard. They'll call a foul, a tripping call, and Watson fell on that left hip. Ouch.
And Marciulionis stepped slow, trying to come over and get the steal, and he stepped on Anton Watson's foot.
Watson did get up. And I think they're saying it was not a shooting foul. Is that right?
I think there's a miscommunication. I think they're fixing that.
Yeah, there's got to be a shooting foul.
Anton Watson, 2.
So Anton Watson will be at the free throw line. The senior has had an unbelievable career.
He was second all-time in school history behind John Stockton in steals.
Good guy to be on a list with. We've been talking about Tickets Punch on Selection Sunday coming up this Sunday on ESPN. Just wall-to-wall coverage, SportsCenter Live. Bracket reaction at 6 Eastern. Bracketology presented by Lowe's, 7 Eastern. The women's field revealed at 8 Eastern, and then more bracketology at 9 Eastern. And that comes up Selection Sunday. Watson, though,
that's the problem right there. The free throw line
is not a good free throw shooter. So missed 2 there. St. Mary's still has a lead. Gales haven't scored in now 4 minutes.
You got Dusty Stromer on Mitchell Saxon. You got to get Mitchell Saxon the ball.
Yeah. Gales couldn't get it into him, so Dukas will just take it all the way.
He just drove right off of Mitchell Saxon and used his size as basically a pulling guard to block as he cleared out a path for him to get to the lane.
Dukas has been more of a passer so far after his huge scoring night last night. That was his first basket. Here's Watson going to work against Saxon, trying to spin along the baseline, and he draws a foul. So for Saxon, the personal on him, that'll be his first. And right back to the free throw line for Watson. We'll see if this time goes a little bit better for Anton. Grew up in Spokane, went to high school there, local kid, rooting for the Zags.
And was patient.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a word we don't use a lot with today's college basketball player, is that they were patient. He came in as a freshman, started playing right away, hurt his shoulders. I believe it was down in the Bahamas at the Battle for Atlantis. And then as time has just gone on, you sit behind Chet Holmgren and obviously Drew Timme. Didn't panic, didn't go look for somewhere else, because for him, wearing the name on that front of that jersey was a dream. And he's lived out a dream career, and he's left a legacy in this program, regardless of how things end up in the NCAA tournament or here tonight. Anton Watson has been an essential part to the fabric and the culture of this program since he's been on campus.
Just like Dukas, he's going to leave as the all-time leader in games played in his program's history. Saxon couldn't finish there with some contact.
Great job by Ben Gregg being physical without fouling.
And the Zags again down 2. Nembhard probing. And Nembhard feeds Watson, who's feeling it a little bit on this end. No good. Under 6 to go first half. St. Mary's still having a tough time on this end of the floor. Marshallonis, tough move.
That's where he just gets really good when he gets downhill. Strong upper body for Marshallonis because of how strong his lower body is. He gets set, and his base is so strong underneath him that allows him to use his upper body strength to finish through contact.
His dad was a great player. Hickman, air ball on the 3. That'll go out of bounds. And Augustus Marshallonis, I mean, he's taken as big of a leap as almost anybody in the country this year. From a role player last year to conference player of the year. How about this? With 5:20 to go in the first half, Graham Ike, with his 2 fouls, is coming back in the game. So Mark Few,
I go right at him.
Is trusting his.
If you can get 3 fouls on him here in the first half, Dave, that could change the whole complexion all night long.
I mean, I gotta think St. Mary's is going to try to do that. Saxon has it. It's not Ike guarding him. It's Gregg. Tip up, no good. Saxon was fouled, trying to come up with the offensive rebound.
The foul's going to be on Dusty Stromer. Underneath, but you've got to try to see if you can exploit a matchup and put Ike in a position where he could potentially pick up that 3rd foul.
I mean, it's seemed like here in the last month of the season, the only way to stop him is to get him on the bench. Marshallonis down the lane, hits the floor. Nembhard to a streaking Watson for the dunk.
We haven't seen a lot of that, but he excels in the open floor. And he runs the floor as well as a 4-man in college basketball. And he gets that lane, and he can be a runaway train.
I do like the fact that they're letting these players play. They're letting Some contact go. Marciulionis avoided the contact and kind of sweeped it in with his left hand. That was a nifty move.
Well, part of the reason why Gonzaga hasn't had a lot of transition looks has been because Gonzaga consistently is having to take the ball out of the net. And there's obviously been, every time you play Gonzaga, you talk about, hey, you got to get back in transition. You got to stop them in transition. Because if you don't stop them in transition, this is what happens. Run the lane and just one bounce and accelerate to the cup. And whether it's Watson, whether it's a kick out three, whether it's Nembhard attacking downhill and leaving it for Graham Ike, it's there.
That was uncharacteristic, wasn't it, from Mitchell Saxon? He left his feet, and he committed his second personal. So now the St. Mary's big man, Ben Gregg, makes the first of 2 free throws. He's got 2, just like Ike does. That's a big story here in the first half. What a second half Ben Gregg had last night.
Oh, my goodness. And he just dialed it in from the outside. After a struggle in the first half to find any rhythm with his shot, he got going early, and it didn't stop.
Did you see his quote after the game? Be like a goldfish.
Oh, yeah, the Ted Lasso.
He shot it so poorly in the first half. So just forget about it. Short memory. Marciulionis down low to Saxon. This time Watson on him. Shot clock winding down. Marciulionis 3, no good. Forbes grabs the offensive board. Out of bounds, and they'll say off of Forbes. Wow.
These two teams meet up. It's tight. It's competitive. That's a foul. It wasn't called. Whatever. It's champ week. Let's go. I love it. All right. I think that's Jay Will. All right, Jay Will. Let's go. Hey, what a great week. Those guys, I think, are going to be in the ACC tournament, if I'm not mistaken, heading down to Washington, D.C. You and I are here in Las Vegas right now, 2 close teams. We're as familiar with each other as these teams are.
Oh, that is a fact. That is a fact.
But Coach is right.
No secrets.
Gonzaga has really settled in back into this game after early struggles and careless ball handling. And their understanding of how they can attack with Graham Ike being on the bench, the fact that it's a 2-point game, I think bodes really well for St. Mary's.
Nembhard.
For the Gonzaga, excuse me.
Yeah, came up short with that shot. And in some ways, St. Mary's kind of let him off the hook a little bit while Ike was on the bench.
Alex Dukas has got to get freed up. They can get Mahaney more shots right here, but you got Saxon being guarded again by Dusty Stromer. You got to get him the ball.
Mahaney picked up his dribble.
That's not where you want to get him the ball.
Let's see if he can probe here a little bit against Nembhard. Got Nembhard in the air and missed the shot. Rebound, Watson. Physical game here. Down low, Ike. Catch and score.
Yeah, Graham Ike got upset. He got a little bump in the transition, and he had that look of like, I'm just going to get to my spot right now. Give me the ball. I'm finishing, and that's exactly what he did.
You love the intensity. Zags fans coming to life here. He did get a technical last night. He's got to be careful here. He's got 2 fouls already. Saxon had it poked away. Great play by Ben Gregg. Nembhard on the break. Nembhard bounces it to Ike. Ike, no! Tip, no good. And St. Mary's comes away with the ball.
Mitchell Saxon almost picked up his 3rd personal foul right there, but he pulled back at the last second to avoid contact. Marciulionis wanted to get Mitchell Saxon the ball, but Mahaney reversed it instead.
And he'll hit the 3.
Good decision.
Yeah, worked out really well for St. Mary's. Back up by 3. And Mahaney's had a good first half. He had the incredible stretch. Remember that last year regular season game in Moraga against this Gonzaga team?
We have 17 in the second half.
Yeah, and just took over the game late and in overtime. Nembhard and Ike, that 2-man game, which has just worked so beautifully, and this time it's Nembhard's turn to score.
Well, part of that has just been how often they spend time off the court. You know, we talk about chemistry on the court. Chemistry on the court is often obtained by the amount of time that you spend off the court. And they watch movies together, they watch film together. They spend a lot of time getting to know one another, both of them transferring into the program, trying to figure out the culture and how they have to partake in it.
Well, they left Marciulionis wide open, and Randy Bennett wants a timeout after the made three. I think they gave it to him.
Yeah, they gave it to him. He was calling it the entire time. Big three-point shot. Marciulionis not known for the three, but if you give it to him, he's got to shoot it with confidence, and he just did.
Tough, physical, and fun first half. St. Mary's has a 4-point lead, 1 minute to go until halftime. The three-point make, Randy Bennett called a timeout, and maybe just to help his defense get organized, he'll get Luke Barrett in the game.
Well, you get Mitchell Saxon out of the game so that he avoids picking up his third personal foul. That's why you call that timeout. And a smart use it or lose it timeout by Randy Bennett in that moment. He didn't want to lose his big man and make him play with a lack of aggressiveness in the second half, so he got him on the bench.
Ike, meanwhile, will stay out there. Zags have the ball. So on offense, Graham Ike is on the floor with his two personals. And without Saxon down there, Ike, you figure, is just going to go. Marciulionis, what a help side defensive play that was to block it from behind.
A lot of teams might think to go 2 for 1 here. Not St. Mary's.
No. I don't think they have ever worked on that.
Can you imagine if all of a sudden they just turned up the pace and were like, yep, we're going for 2 for 1.
It would take everybody by surprise. It might work. Instead, it's a typical St. Mary's possession. Shot clock under 5. Barrett passed up the three. Got to get a shot up. He does, and he came up way short. And Alex Dukas is telling him, you got to shoot that. He got right in his face. Shot clock at 3. You can't pass that shot up, and now Randy Bennett is in his ear.
Always have to have clock awareness. But part of that is they find themselves so late in the shot clock so frequently, you just expect that they know it.
Yeah, and they are usually comfortable.
Here's a layup.
Nemhard all the way, and Marciulionis with another block. A couple seconds on the clock from half court. Almost went for Barrett. And the first half will come to an end. Watson and Dukas in each other's face.
Oh, that was Mahaney. Mahaney was in Watson's face at midcourt. It's a title fight here in Las Vegas. And these two teams, man, it is going to be physical. There's going to be a ton of contact and a lot of smack probably being talked in the second half. What a block, though, by Marciulionis. He had a clear lane to the hoop. I thought it was for sure 2 for Nemhard. And instead, Marciulionis tracks him down from behind and pins it on the backboard.
Wow, what a way to end this first half. And you could almost see at the end of that play, Watson and Mahaney getting together there. So a 4-point lead for St. Mary's, 1-2. Kevin, Jay, and Seth in studio. It's time for halftime. Welcome back to ESPN's Champ Week, presented by Principal. And it is the WCC Men's Basketball Championship. As we get ready to start the second half from Las Vegas. Good game between these two fierce rivals, St. Mary's and Gonzaga, and the Gales have a 31-27 lead. Dave Fleming, Sean Farnham back with you here. St. Mary's, look, the advantage is 4. Felt like they really controlled most of that first half. How'd they do it?
They do it with the pace of play, right? A couple early turnovers. They established how they wanted to play. They played through Mitchell Saxon and Aiden Mahaney. The two of them combined to have a really strong first half. 22 points between the two of them. Mitchell Saxon doing all of his work around the rim. He has 3 offensive rebounds in the first 20 minutes, 12 points, and then you get Aiden Mahaney going, and all of a sudden things start working a little bit better because he spaces the floor out. Aiden Mahaney usually picks up his game in the second half, 4 of 6 shooting. Aggressive, strong moves, playing off of 2. Allowed Marciulionis just to be a facilitator. He had 5 assists, 0 turnovers in the first 20. The Gales play at their pace. The key is they need to get Graham Ike going for Gonzaga. He was riddled with foul trouble in the first half, had 6 points tonight. Go back to that game in Moraga. He had 24 points and took it over. I anticipate early in this second half that they're going to get the ball to Ike and try to ignite that fire again.
First possession of the second half, and St. Mary's has it. Forbes off the pass from Mahaney, and very aggressively Mason Forbes lays it in.
You can use him in a center screen. You don't want to have him on the baseline because then they'll gap him. But you get him rolling to the rim. His athleticism, he can finish.
He had 18 last night. You saw a quick shot of his family. It's been a great week for them. Nolan Hickman answers on this end.
Same first play they ran actually at the start of the second half against San Francisco.
Just good luck for the Zags here in Vegas.
Every NCAA tournament team they might face goes, okay, so they run that curl action with Hickman to start the second. Okay, you got that.
Marciulionis driving down the lane. Marciulionis, they call a foul. Is that going to be against Hickman? I think it is.
Gonzaga foul number 11. Nolan Hickman.
Talking about Mason Forbes, his family. His sister is here tonight, Mackenzie. She was not here last night. She is coming off a weekend where she was named the most outstanding player in the Pac-12 women's tournament here in Vegas.
USC looking like they could be a 1 seed, according to Charlie Crane on the women's side. I wanted to talk to him. Mom's got some unbelievable nails.
There's Mom.
I said, you got to show me the nails, because I noticed that one hand was painted in the color of USC and the other hand was painted in the color of St. Mary's. And she's got her kids' numbers on it. I mean, a proud family. That's some good nail work, by the way.
Really good. Plus, got to get your halftime snack in. Didn't have enough time.
We didn't. You and I ran back. We just got little. Just some scraps.
EK down low, and they call him for a travel. St. Mary's gets the ball back. It is so important when you play Gonzaga these first few minutes of the second half. The Zags have been incredibly explosive to start second halves.
It's about quality of shot, not turning the ball over, and getting clean looks.
Dukas for 3, no good. And Gonzaga will track down a long rebound.
Look at the numbers back though. 4 in white, only 3 were in blue.
Gregg for 3. Ben Gregg way short. And now Mahaney, the lead pass to Dukas. Passed up the 3, and I think St. Mary's is going to just get organized here. Saxon against Ike. Saxon, foul.
That's a foul.
Now, the whistle came a little late. I think that's why Zags fans and Mark Few were unhappy, but it looked like a foul.
Graham Ike. Yeah, you can't come across the arm like that. It's going to be called every single time. Just a little bit late on the whistle. His hand was on the ball. That's true. But it came through his arm to get there.
So that's 3 fouls on Ike. Mark Few, I think, is going to stick with him for now. Saxon misses the first free throw. First St. Mary's miss at the line. But it means Ike's got to be real careful now. A long way to go in this game with 3 fouls. Second free throw good.
St. Mary's can stop you. They look at the number, 29 points, 22 minutes into this game for a team that averages almost 86 per contest. That just because the possessions become that much more limited.
Hickman missed the shot, and then the ball caromed over to Dukas. I mean, it's why come Selection Sunday, whoever sees St. Mary's on the other side of their first matchup, it's just a pain to play the Gales. Mahaney hits the 3 from the corner. A quick release for Aid Mahaney, who's having a big championship night. This is the biggest lead for the Gales. 10. Ike double team quickly. Ike trying to get out of there. Mahaney got in and created the tie-up. Jump ball.
A double team immediately, and one of the things that Ike's gotten better at has been the ball movement out of the double team. But speaking about ball movement, get the switch. Ike on Marciulionis. Quick to strong side corner. No hesitation from Aiden Mahaney.
On the inbounds, Nembhard. Two-man game, screen and roll with Ike, and he finds him sort of delayed. Ike scores from the lane.
I think you just go a heavy dose of that. Ask Kentucky how that worked out in that contest that they played. I mean, you put those two in that action, more often than not, you're going to find something good.
Mahaney now matched up with Ike. He'll shoot the 2-point jumper. That one no good. Tip ball, Forbes snatches it. And now foul? I thought it was a foul call. Yeah, they called Anton Watson for the personal.
That's 3 fouls in 3 minutes to start the second half for Gonzaga.
Inbound play here for St. Mary's. Well, they backed off Mahaney, just invited him to take that three.
That is a breakdown by Graham Ike, and Mark Few wants a timeout because they're having the breakdowns at the defensive end of the floor. You cannot leave the ball, and especially if it's in the hands of Aiden Mahaney. And Ike had to switch out on it, didn't want to stay switched on it. So he just backs off, and Mahaney said, "Are you going to give it to me? I'm going to take it." And he's been in a rhythm tonight. He's got 16 for St. Mary's, and they're up by 11.
Well, the regular season champs in the West Coast Conference have a 42-31 lead over Gonzaga, 16:47 to go here in Las Vegas. Gonzaga has an unbelievable record of success in this tournament, but when they have lost the WCC tournament, it's been at the hands of the Gales. Back in 2010, 2012, St. Mary's did it again in a classic, an overtime win, 78-74. Last time they did it back in 2019, typical St. Mary's score, 60-47. It's been that kind of game here tonight. The Gales trying to win their fourth against the Zags in this era. Those are the only losses Gonzaga, since this tournament came to Las Vegas, that's it. Those are the only times Gonzaga has ever lost in this event.
Just silly.
Amazing.
This is the biggest key. We talked about the first couple minutes coming out, how you want to play. 11-4 to start the second half. Now remember, Gonzaga's a team that has usually come out of the break and started to assert itself right away. St. Mary's has at least weathered the first 3 minutes of that.
Anton Watson, nice move by him. San Francisco's got to be sitting back and watching. How is St. Mary's doing this? Gonzaga in the first few minutes of the second half against San Francisco last week and last night, just incredible. Barcelona swarmed a double team. Now a reach-in foul against Gonzaga. Ben Gregg called for the personal. You could definitely tell out of the timeout Gonzaga trying to ratchet up the defensive intensity.
Well, it can be frustrating when you play free and you want to play fast, and all of a sudden the air seemingly is taken out of the ball, and you're on defense every single time down the floor for a good 25 seconds.
Mahaney looking for somewhere to go with the ball, and he called a timeout. His teammate Marciulionis actually is the guy who called the timeout to keep St. Mary's from turning it over. So a break in the action here in Las Vegas. The top seed Gales 42-33. That's their lead.
USC Pac-12 champions.
8 is pretty great, and South Carolina has been fantastic at the SEC tournament.
Notre Dame has done it. The ACC champion.
The Lancers are dancers once again.
Well, Champ Week, ACC men's tournament presented by T. Rowe Price got underway today. You see those 3 results from the first round. Does that set up a particular matchup that interests you?
I think Wake Forest, you look at their tournament resume, must-win game against Notre Dame. Clemson, I think, is a team that potentially could make a trip all the way to the semifinals. I like them against Boston College, and P.J. Hall can really cause some problems for a team like Virginia. It'd be interesting to see if they could get there and take on Duke in the semifinals.
So that ACC tournament continues tomorrow. This WCC tournament finishes tonight. Mitchell Saxon takes a pass from Marciulionis, knocked out of bounds. Shot clock at 1. So the Gales are going to have to get a shot off quickly out of the timeout. St. Mary's leading by 9. Regular season champs, the Gales 15-1, Gonzaga 14-2. Marciulionis inbounds Mahaney, and that shot goes! He hit it! And I think they're going to review.
It was less than a second. A second was showing on the clock. Yeah. It was less than a second.
Shot clock violation is under review.
That's the voice of Siri again talking to us, Mike Reed.
Let's see.
I think it's still in his hands. It is.
Shot clock violation is confirmed.
Okay, so no basket. What a shot from Mahaney, who was truly feeling it tonight, but wave it off.
I want Mike Reed to put a little bit more like, hey, no chance that was good. Something like that in there.
After you got on him last night, he's playing it totally by the book tonight. I like the referee mic, though.
I do, too. I wish we had it at every single one of our games.
Yeah, it's good, and the fans appreciate it. Watson attacks. Anton Watson, another bucket for him.
Yeah, that little short roll action, really good for Anton Watson. On the side, he's got that touch on the baseline. I think you go to that more and more. They got to find ways to score around the hoop.
Watson's leading Gonzaga. He's got 12. Mahaney double teamed. So Forbes passes out to Dukas. Forbes was right near the rim. Dukas back to Forbes against Ike. Forbes fouled.
Ike's fourth.
Wow. Yeah, they're calling Graham Ike with that personal foul. He's going to have to leave the game.
And now Huff has to come in.
That is a big call. And I think Ike knew it. You didn't see him arguing that call.
No. And little things like that for Mason Forbes are big, because if you haven't watched Mason Forbes, where he's at right now is not his most comfortable spot on the floor.
No, he is not a good free throw shooter, and he just drills it. Last night, his family was kind of having a little fun with him.
32% free throw shooter.
Even the pressure of a champ game, I love how mom and dad can smile. And, okay, we'll take 1 out of 2.
You get 32%, you get 50%. That's a win.
8-point lead for St. Mary's. Gonzaga trying to chip away. Huff in the game for Ike.
And when Huff was in the game in the first half, St. Mary's went to Mitchell Saxon and he scored 6 quick points.
Nemhardt's having a hard time against Marciulionis, getting by. Shot clock winding down. Here's Ben Gregg, the 3. Got it!
Only the second made 3 of the night for Gonzaga. They were red hot from beyond the arc in the second half of the game against San Francisco. Ben Gregg was the one that ignited it last night.
Forbes almost lost the ball. Avoids the turnover, and are they calling a timeout? Man, now Nemhardt and Forbes getting into it.
And we got technical fouls being assessed. And Randy Bent saying, you're giving a technical on our guy, then you better call it on their guy. And because what they're going to call here is a technical foul on Alex Dukas, who ripped the ball out of Ryan Nemhardt's hands after he ripped the ball out of Mason Forbes' hands.
This game has gotten intense.
And watch this. So the timeout's called. Rod's a little bump, and Nemhardt's not letting go. He rips it out of his hands. Dukas takes it out of his and just stares at him. And they call a technical on Dukas. And we kind of sense this. You and I were talking about this at halftime. The chippiness that was going on out there. And Mike Reed, one of the best officials in all of college basketball, looking at it on the monitor with Randy Richardson next to him. And Nemhardt rips it out of his hand. Watson's hitting him. A lot of guys talking. Alex Dukas goes, you're not taking the ball from my teammate. I'm taking that right back.
Yeah. Part of the intensity of this game is just how many times these teams and some of these individual players have met on this stage. The familiarity between these programs. They play 3 times a year, every single year. You got so many veteran players. Anton Watson and Alex Dukas tonight are the all-time leaders in games played for both programs in the history of college basketball. Conference title games. Carolina Duke, Gonzaga St. Mary's, most head-to-head meetings in the history of this sport.
One started in 1940, the other one started in 2004.
One difference. Yeah, a lot of.
And there is something to, this game and these players in particular. Dukas was the one that said in the press conference, we want them. We don't feel like they beat us. We feel like we lost that game in Moraga, and they have brought a physical approach to this game. Mark Few's telling his guys, they're going to be physical. St. Mary's one of the more physical teams in all of college basketball. And so you got to keep your mind dialed into the details in which how you need to execute. And there's been a lot of talking throughout the course of the game, and it started to bubble up right before halftime.
Yeah, and you and I noticed as the teams came out of the locker rooms to start the second half, the officials got the 2 captains, Dukas and Watson, together at midcourt, had them sort of shake hands. I had some words for them about trying to maybe diffuse things, calm things down. And I don't know that worked.
We have not had an announcement yet of what they're doing.
Well, they're pointing in both directions.
Here comes Mike Reed. I think he's going to go to the mic.
The public address announcer decided to just start talking, so Mike Reed got interrupted. We wanted to hear Mike. You got to lay out. Let the official make the announcement. All right, what did Greg Nixon tell you?
Offsetting. And they called it on Nembhard, who took the ball first, and they called it on Dukas, who took the ball second. Now we just play on. Point of interruption.
All right. Now Saxon, shot clock winding down. Mitchell Saxon to the basket. Huff blocked the shot.
By Huff. Just wall up verticality.
Watson over to Nembhard. Nembhard's going to go all the way, scoop it up and in. Here come the Zags.
It starts because their ability to defend, Dave, and then attack in transition, even in their secondary break. Huff is guarding Forbes. I would bring Forbes up to set the screen and try to isolate Huff at the defensive end.
Shot clock again, starting to tick down. Marciulionis bounces it to Saxon. Saxon got fouled this time by Huff.
Previous possession, though, Huff did an outstanding job of verticality. Watch the drive, goes straight up with his hands, doesn't break his arms, then gets the deflection. That leads to the run out. Even though the defensive transition was good, and when Ryan Nembhard can get his shoulders beneath the defender's hips and see that seam, he's going to finish.
Well, remember that early timeout here in the second half, 2 minutes into the half, something like that. Mark Few got on his team.
Well, timeouts could be an issue, Dave. We got 13:27 left to go. The Gales have one timeout, and that's wow.
They're calling Dukas for a foul, fighting for position. He was arguing that he was fouled.
His jersey was literally pulled from behind. You got only 3 timeouts remaining in this entire game.
Yeah, between both teams. So 1 of 2 at the free throw line. 4-point lead for St. Mary's. Nembhard.
The court has an edge to it right now, Dave.
Big time. You can feel it. Watson against Mason Forbes.
He's going up with this.
Yeah. Forbes didn't let him release it. Now Ben Gregg's turn. Guarded by Dukas. Huff was fouled by Saxon, so he'll go to the free throw line.
That'll be Saxon's 3rd personal foul. Remember, Graham Ike on the bench. He's got 4 personal fouls.
Now, the tough part of this, to officiate a game like this where you know it's getting so intense, is the tendency is to try to calm it down by calling some fouls.
There's already been 10 called. 7 on Gonzaga. Every time there'll be a foul for the remainder of this game, St. Mary's is going to get to the free throw line.
Which is good and bad, depending on which player gets fouled. Huff makes the first. It's been a while since it's been this close. St. Mary's. Gales led by as many as 11 when Mark Few called that timeout. It's down to 2. And again, they're just swarming ball handlers. Saxon, extra passing. Here's Mahaney, 3, no. Rebound Huff. Had a great look. Nembhard, 3, too strong. And who's going to get the rebound? Tapped over to Forbes.
Everybody on their feet in the Orleans Arena.
Amazing, with 13 minutes to go.
It's March. There's something magical about it every single year.
Saxon, good pass. Forbes scores. Big man to big man. Almost even now, points in the paint. It's even in a lot of ways, as it so often is when these two teams go head to head. Tough shot, no. And Marciulionis snatches that rebound. Teams are playing so hard. Again, they get the ball out of Mahaney's hands. Forbes slices to the bucket. He'll go to the free throw line, almost finish a shot. Mason Forbes active in these last couple minutes. Timeout on the floor.
It was chippy up in Spokane. It is chippy here in Las Vegas. Two teams that have their eyes on the NCAA tournament, but they're not looking ahead tonight. They're looking and staring at one another, and we're locked in for the next 12.
All right, it's time for tonight's Move of the Game presented by TurboTax. We talked about big man to big man passing for St. Mary's.
Well, and just a great job by Mitchell Saxon, who had gone into Huff a couple of times and had struggled to find a way to score. Huff leaves his feet. That vacates that spot on the backside. Mason Forbes able to catch it and finish.
You know, the way they're blitzing the ball whenever Marshallonis or Mahaney has it, aren't they daring St. Mary's to do that?
They basically are. And that's where you've got to drop Forbes down and put him in the position. Now, last possession, Forbes was in the same spot, unable to finish. Means he goes to the free throw line. He's 1 of 2 there tonight. And again, not understating the fact that he struggles. Just 16 of 50 coming into the game.
Yeah, it's a big problem. Had missed 7 in a row in last night's game, made his last 2. And he makes 1 of 2 for the second straight time. He'll check out of the game. Luke Barrett comes in. With 11:36 to go, the lead for St. Mary's is 5. And if you're just joining us, the intensity level very high. Got double technical fouls called in the last few minutes. Dusty Stromer in off the bench for Gonzaga has the ball. So both coaches maybe trying to use their bench just a little bit here. Hickman, that ball hit off somebody's foot, I thought. Emhart tracked it down. Emhart, that was a tough shot. Rebound. St. Mary's comes away with it. I think both head coaches are trying to buy a few minutes here before the final push.
You got Ike, he's sitting with 4 fouls. When do you bring him back? To me, I think probably at the under 4 if you can keep it tight. Ben Gregg defending Mitchell Saxon.
How about Mahaney went right by Anton Watson. That was a good move.
And he's now up to 18. You and I talked last night. I said Mahaney had to have over 20 tonight for St. Mary's to have a chance to win this game. He's closing in on that mark.
This is about as good as I've seen him play all year. Watson, a little running hook. Ben Gregg crashes the offensive glass, and Gregg lays it in with a foul. And that one could be against Saxon.
It is.
And that would be his 4th. Now that's a huge call against the Gales.
Mitchell Saxon saying that was not on me, and I wonder if the officials will take a look at it. Luke Barrett saying that was on him, and they're going to change it.
Let's see. Well, it was definitely on Barrett. He's the one who raked Ben Gregg across the face. So I mean, they got the call right, but that's big for St. Mary's that they did change it.
Ben Gregg has been that emotional guy. He hit the 3-point shot, tough basket underneath. Would have liked to seen that free throw go down, but can his energy start to spark this Gonzaga offense a little bit?
I don't know if anybody in the country plays harder than number 33 for Gonzaga. Mahaney again. Shot clock down to 7. Now Mahaney against Stromer. Mahaney dribbling around. Tries to get a shot off. Stromer blocked it. Good defense there.
Stayed down on his feet, utilized his length, trusted himself.
Nembhard steps through, missed it. Wow, from point blank range, Nembhard just didn't finish. Gales got away with one there. Under 10 to go. Still a 5-point game.
14 points, 12 rebounds on the night for Mitchell Saxon.
Marshallonis goes all the way. Marshallonis with the left hand. Beautiful. Hickman trying to go quick tempo. I think Gonzaga.
Mark Few's got to be careful not to get a technical foul.
He's right in Randy Richardson's face. He's looking. I think he's talking about the foul differential, 8-4 in this second half.
Here we go.
Lead is 7. Inbound play, Watson against Saxon with those 3. Gave it up. Nolan Hickman. That one's good.
That was an aggressive move. Got his shoulders squared and elevated up over the top of Aiden Mahaney.
All the while you saw that shot of Ike. He and Huff both on the bench for Gonzaga. Marciulionis just lost it. And then they call a foul. They did. They call Marciulionis for a foul.
Hickman, bench, trying to feel the energy, build off of that.
Hey, Hickman's taken a big step forward this year. Different role with Ryan Nembhard, playing off the ball more. It's really benefited him.
I think it has. He's had some huge games where easily gets over 20 points time and time again. He's let the game come to him. He hasn't forced his offense as much this season. I think that's been huge.
Watson in the lane. Another bucket for Anton Watson. He's got 14. Lead back down to 3. Mahaney, Greg tried to block it. Saxon, and they'll call him for over the back. A foul on Saxon, going for the offensive rebound.
And Mark Few just gave a fist pump looking at Nolan Hickman, and Hickman gave him one right back. Like the intensity is picked up. The officials are on everything right now. And watch this, and just a little nudge and a push underneath. There's no doubt about it. Mitchell Saxon got his elbow into the lower back of Anton Watson.
Maybe a coincidence, but maybe not, since Mark Few said, look at the foul differential. 3 fouls called against St. Mary's. Watson earns the second. A back and forth game here in the second half with a championship on the line.
Both squads really small right now. With the size that's on the floor, though, I think you go to Anton Watson on post-up situations, short rolls. He's going to be able to finish up. There is not a shot blocker on the floor right now. And really no length for St. Mary's.
6-0 Gonzaga run. Mahaney against Watson. Mahaney almost got picked. Good defense from Watson, and stolen by Nembhard. Here goes Nembhard. Pass was deflected. Zags will reorganize here. Chance to take the lead.
This place will explode. They got the mismatch. Go to Anton Watson. Aiden Mahaney's guarding him on the post.
Mahaney jumped around to try to deflect that pass, and Mahaney might have hit his head. He gets called for the reach-around foul, and that's going to put Watson back at the free throw line when we come back to Las Vegas. What a game. What a game, what a rivalry. The WCC Championship, 51-50. Back right after this. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal. Let's build a retirement and benefits plan that works for your team. Sometimes they call it Kennel South here in Las Vegas. The Orleans Arena, the site of this championship game in the WCC. Mitchell Saxon back in the game with 4 fouls. This was, Sean, what you noticed right before we went to break.
Well, watch Aiden Mahaney as he fouls him. He falls to the floor, and then there's a kick right to the head right there. Obviously inadvertent. There's nothing wrong there, but Aiden Mahaney got his bell rung a little bit, taking the boot to the side of the head.
He's still in the game. He's played really well for St. Mary's. Watson has 16.6 rebounds, 4 of 6 at the line, and another 1-on-1 opportunity for Anton Watson.
And you mentioned it. Mitchell Saxon back out on the floor with 4 personal fouls. Graham Ike still on the bench with 4 personal fouls. Randy Bennett trusts Mitchell Saxon in these situations.
Gonzaga leads for the first time all game. First lead for the Zags. Marciulionis on the attack. No. Rebound. Tap back out by Saxon. Here goes Marciulionis, or rather Mahaney, down low to Saxon. He's got Hickman behind. Ben Gregg came around and just chopped at it. And maybe Ben Gregg just figured, well, Hickman against Saxon, that's not going to end well. But he puts him at the free throw line. An 8-0 run. St. Mary's in the bonus.
And the Gales have gotten a little sloppy with the ball here in the second half.
Yeah.
They've turned the ball over. They've allowed those runouts off of those turnovers. The difference between a dead ball turnover and a live ball turnover, they've been more live ball here in the second half. 10 turnovers overall. All 3 have been live ball turnovers here in the first 13 minutes.
And the second, Saxon, and you just said it a moment ago, his coach trusting him to play with 4 fouls. He made them both. And St. Mary's back ahead, 53-52. We're just waiting to see how long Mark Few will keep Graham Ike on the bench. Different decision by the 2 head coaches. Hickman 3, no. Saxon boxes out. He's such a good rebounder.
With 2 points tonight for Dukas off of that game where he had 21 last night.
Really quiet, and that's been the case for him this year against Gonzaga. Forbes dunks it home along the baseline.
A breakdown at the defensive end of the floor. Mitchell Saxon, basically posting up, created that seam, and Forbes just attacked the rim.
After the Zags took the lead, Nembhard trying to lean in and draw that 5th foul. All knocked away. Nembhard 3. Just off the back iron, and it bounces over the backboard and out of bounds. That one looked pretty good.
Watch this last play, though. You see Mitchell Saxon on the baseline. He ducks in, goes like he's going to post up, and no rotation from the weak side, and Mason Forbes was unmarked.
Barcelona's at the opposite way of the screen. Now Mahaney along the baseline. Nembhard right in his face. Bounce pass was knocked away. It'll go out of bounds off of Gonzaga. So shot clock at 6.
Great hands by Dusty Stromer, though. Dusty Stromer's given some good minutes.
He is.
Here.
He's playing really good defense.
I mean, being active at the defensive end of the floor, deflecting the ball, getting rebounds, little things for Dusty Stromer, the freshman.
Now Saxon checks out of the game. Probably not for long. Mahaney against Hickman. Tried to whip it into Forbes, and Nembhard was there for the steal.
Yeah, that's like a free safety, and he just shot the gap and jumped the pass. Great job by Nembhard.
Under 6 to play. Watson posting up against Mason Forbes. Gave it up, repost. Now he'll go to work. Dukas grabs a rebound.
One of the things they do so well is just rebound the ball. They're #1 in the country in total rebounding percentage. Right now it is 32-19 rebounding advantage for St. Mary's.
Against a big, strong Gonzaga team. That's impressive. Mahaney's been quiet the last few minutes. Barrett catch and shoot 3. Too short. Rebound. Forbes comes away with it. Now Mahaney will try. Got it! And a timeout, Gonzaga. After the Zags run, St. Mary's has answered with a 7-0 run.
Sometimes it's simple, like rebounding the basketball, gaining extra possessions. Mason Forbes tracking down that rebound. The kick out to Aiden Mahaney. Wide open. Late closeout by Ben Gregg, and Mark Few says, hey, we need a timeout. Aiden Mahaney just got a clean look. And the Gales are back on a run. 21 points now for number 20 in white.
He's having a huge championship game. He had such a great freshman year, Aiden Mahaney. He was freshman All-American, and it ratcheted up the expectations big time for this season. And would it be fair to say that it's been an uneven second year for Aiden Mahaney? First-team All-League player. He's played well.
But you look at him, and he grew up right down the road, went to Campolindo High School, literally a 3-minute drive from where he went to high school to the front gates of St. Mary's College. Played for West Coast Elite program out of high school. And Aiden Mahaney brought a lot of excitement. There's pressure on his shoulders when you travel that short of a distance, and everybody expects the world out of you. And he has delivered time and time again in some big moments. It has had inconsistencies throughout the year and moments where you want to see him be more aggressive. But on a championship game like tonight, where you know you need to step up, they're figuring it out. And they're putting the ball in his hands, and he's saying, I want the ball in my hands. And he's made plays.
And by the way, just to reset a point you made a minute ago, now both teams down to 1 timeout apiece for the final 4:50 for Mahaney. It's just been an overall great night. 5 of 7 from three-point range, 21 points, a lot of big shots. And look who's back on the court for the Zags.
Look at that look in his eyes.
Yeah. Well, he's told us the player he models his game after on the court, Kevin Garnett.
He said his favorite thing is for the Game of Thrones, his motto is kill and be killed. We'll see what Graham Ike can do here in the final 5 minutes. Playing with 4 fouls. So is Mitchell Saxon, who's guarding him. They post him up right away.
Yeah. Ike goes to work. Graham Ike immediately gets a bucket.
There was no doubt when his hands touched the ball that he was going to spin off immediately and look to finish.
Ike on Marciulionis. Marciulionis thought about taking him. This is what Gonzaga did in the first half. Trying to keep Ike from that 5th foul. Shot clock winding down. Long 3. Off iron, and Forbes will grab another offensive rebound. And that's a tough assignment for Hickman if he's going to be the guy who has to box out Forbes. Now it's Mahaney against Ike. Aid Mahaney with the left hand high off the glass and a foul on the floor. Saxon was there in position, and he's the one who got fouled.
And they're going to call that on Ryan Nembhard, pulling down the arm, I believe, of Mitchell Saxon. You get offensive rebounds. The tough part about with St. Mary's is they just grind out that clock. 4-point game, 4 to go. I'm here for this.
Hey, you know, sometimes it's hard to be at your absolute best when you spend a lot of time in this town. Dave Fleming, Sean Farnham, we've been here for a while as we finish up tonight here in the WCC. The ACC, meanwhile, just getting going. Second round action. See the games wall to wall tomorrow, presented by T. Rowe Price. Quarterfinals on Thursday. Maybe we'll get a Duke Carolina championship matchup, and that will edge ahead of Gonzaga St. Mary's all-time in the history of college basketball. Because as of right now, these two teams have met in a conference title game head-to-head as many times as any other in the history of the sport. Saxon at the line comes up short out of the timeout. Double bonus from here on out for St. Mary's, but Saxon missed the first. What a game for him, 16 and 14.
Important still to note, 4 fouls on him, 4 fouls on Ike. Feels like one of those, whoever fouls out first, the other team might win.
It's kind of the game within the game right now. 5-point lead under 4 minutes to go. Ike goes to work against Saxon. A lot of physical play down low, and Saxon forced him to give up the ball. Now Ike sets a screen. Nembhard will bounce it down low to Ike. That one too strong. Rebound Mahaney. That was pretty good defense without fouling.
The conference defensive player of the year.
He looked like it there. You know the Gales with a lead. Last 3 minutes are going to be deliberate.
Only in the last 3 minutes, Dave?
Okay, all 40 minutes, but especially now. Mahaney pull up from the free throw line. Another bucket for Aid Mahaney. Gonzaga needs some points here. Watson, 3, no good. Ike fighting for that rebound, and they're going to call the foul against St. Mary's. I think Marciulionis.
Yeah, it's against Marciulionis.
And won't that be his 4th?
It will be.
So that's a big call, because he's a lot different player than Mitchell Saxon, but very important. He's a conference player of the year. Now Ike at the free throw line. It was unusual last night at the line. He went 2 of 5. He's been making almost all his free throws down the stretch of this season.
He's got 10 points on the night.
Front end of the 1-and-1. No good.
Cannot leave empty points on the board. 2:30 left to go. Limited possession game with the way St. Mary's plays.
And that's a huge miss from Ike, because now the Gales are firmly in charge. Marciulionis against Ike. Marciulionis, a little runner with the soft touch. Off the rim it goes down. The lead is up to 9.
Marciulionis has just played so smart tonight. 13 points, 8 assists, only 1 turnover.
Nembhard, they needed that one big time.
Now you got to extend out your pressure. I'm actually surprised that we haven't seen this pressure earlier, because St. Mary's has struggled against Gonzaga's pressure over the years, not just this year, but over the years, and it kind of speeds them up, shortens up their clock, forces them to have to work at a faster clip once they get across the timeline.
Gonzaga got a much needed bucket. Now they need to stop. I mean, that clock just keeps on ticking down. Marciulionis, bounce pass. Forbes tried to dunk it, and he will go to the free throw line. He hit the floor so hard. Kind of got undercut. He says he's okay.
That foul will go against Anton Watson. The concern right now is Mason Forbes, who's still down on the ground.
Ouch. Mom, Dad, his sister Mackenzie, who's such a great player for USC. Mason began his college career at Harvard. He was a great high school player in Northern California. Was a great high school football player as well. Went to Harvard, grad transferred, and then redshirted last year. Waited and joined a team much closer to home, and he's become a really important part of this team.
They sat him up, and they looked like they were going to pull him up, and he said no, 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 no.
Yeah, and he needed another minute.
So here's the situation that's now because of this injury, and obviously our focus is on Mason Forbes, but he's not going to be able to shoot these free throws. And again, a career 32% free throw shooter. Mitchell Saxon will shoot the free throw instead on the common foul. And they're taking, looks like they're taking Mason Forbes into the tunnel right away. Much as he goes up, he gets pushed, and as he falls down, jarring.
There's no bracing that fall at all. It does get a better free throw shooter at the line, Mitchell Saxon, for 2 huge opportunities. Lead is 7 for St. Mary's. In and out, no good. Saxon's missed a few at the line down the stretch.
Gonzaga's got to, if this is a miss, you got to go off the miss, try to score in your secondary break. You cannot allow St. Mary's to really set up their defense. And they got to look to go.
It is a miss. He missed them both. So that helps the Zags' chances here. Nembhard behind the back dribble, lost it. And the arrow favors St. Mary's. Jump ball, and the Gales are going to get it back.
It was a costly turnover in that moment. Last night, perfect pitch of 12 assists and 0 turnovers. That has not been the case tonight for Nembhard.
No, the assists have been there. He's got 11 assists, but he's been sloppier with the ball.
4 turnovers tonight, and that one a big one.
More pressure here now. If they don't force a turnover, does Gonzaga have to foul?
Yes.
I think they do.
You cannot allow them to run off 30 seconds off this clock.
So Dukas will be the inbound. And remember, both teams only have the 1 timeout. They got Marciulionis pinned in the corner, and he stepped out of bounds.
And Mike Reed saying, let's review that. And that call came from all the way down in front of St. Mary's bench. Mike Reed was on the end line.
The out of bounds call on the floor is under review.
Let's see this next right foot.
I think his left foot did slide out of bounds.
Yeah, at first it was planted inbounds.
I think it was inbounds, and then it slid out of bounds when he plants this foot right there. You see his left foot lift up. It's on the line. That's a good call from the other end of the floor. Watch his left foot lifts up here, and as he moves it that second time, that's when he's out of bounds. You see Braden Huff, mouth wide open, pointing at the floor.
So they're going to have to take a close look at that. 63-56, a huge call.
I think this will be the Zags ball.
I think so too.
Once it's the second foot behind, you see it. It's over that line, the black line right there. And so it'll be Gonzaga's ball from that point. Don't need the three. You'd like it. But I think you've got to get something going towards the bucket. If worst case scenario, being aggressive going to the bucket gets you a foul and get you to the free throw line with the clock stopped. Ideally, I think that's what Mark Few would want to see.
I think both coaches are assuming that call of out of bounds is going to stand.
Would it be out of the equation to see that play that they ran to start the second half and curl Nolan Hickman into the center of the paint either?
It's a good play.
They've had success. They ran it twice in this game, and they got buckets on both times. Then you pick up your press immediately and understand who you want to foul. You know, if you have to take a foul, who are you fouling? Who are you sending
The call
away?
on the floor is confirmed. The player in white is out of bounds.
Okay, so it will be Gonzaga ball with 1:18 to go. Obviously a huge call. That gives Gonzaga a chance here. Pressure worked. Forced the turnover.
Mason Forbes back on the bench for the Gales. Doesn't look like he's going to come back in the game.
Both teams with only one timeout. Ike catches. Ike had it knocked away. It went right to Watson, and he gives it back to Graham Ike along the baseline. No! Watson offensive rebound. Putback doesn't go. Barrett rips the ball, and a travel on Luke Barrett. So he fell down, and that goes down as another St. Mary's turnover. Well, Gonzaga keeps it.
Good look. And then just every time the shot goes up, it is an absolute battle on the glass.
It's been a lot of the story of this game. Time winding off that clock. Watson, and he missed that one. Great looks here from Gonzaga, and not one of them on that possession went down. And now the Zags, you figure they got a foul. Under a minute. Dukas, and they haven't fouled him. Now they will. A lot of time, about 10 seconds ticked off the clock.
I thought too much time ran off that clock. You can press, but you've got to be able to make sure that if you don't get it immediately, you want to elongate this game as much as possible.
So now Alex Dukas, who's had a quiet game overall, the all-time leader in games played for St. Mary's. How many of these battles has he had against the Zags? A lot of them.
He said they wanted him.
He was the one after their win in the first semifinal last night. Alex Dukas, before the Zags played San Francisco, said, we want Gonzaga to win. We want another shot at it. And here they are, 44.5 seconds away from a WCC championship. Got them both.
Now you just drop back and you want to keep the ball in front of you. You do not want to foul if you're St. Mary's.
Nembhard, that one no good. Dukas grabs a rebound, and he'll get fouled again by Ben Gregg. And now I think everybody in here knows it's going to be the St. Mary's Gales.
You think about the St. Mary's team this season. Started the year 3-5. Struggling, looked like maybe they lost a little bit of their identity, and Augustus Marshallonis' improvement over the course of the season, which eventually earned him the most outstanding player of the WCC. Mitchell Saxon's length, they got back to playing slow and methodical and deliberate. They believed in each other. And tonight, they controlled the pace of this game. Gonzaga averages 86 points per contest. They're at 56. They're 30 points under their average.
Dukas has made 4 in a row here in the final minute. The lead is up to 11. Gonzaga. Emhard's going to go all the way to the basket and lay it in. And now they'll set up some pressure. St. Mary's basically all they got to do is not turn it over. Mahaney, Marshallonis, and now it's Mitchell Saxon all alone for the dunk.
These two great coaches. And you look at Gonzaga, how well they played coming into this game. And you look at St. Mary's and the chip on their shoulder. Their only loss in conference play came on their home court. They're undefeated on true road games this season.
Yeah. What a season it's been, and it's not over for Alex Dukas and the St. Mary's Gales. And those two head coaches, incredible respect and competition between those two. The celebration on the court for the Gales, 2010, 2012, 2019, and 2024 in this era of this rivalry. The 4th time that St. Mary's has taken down the Zags in this championship game. Their 5th all-time WCC tournament championship. Their 26th win of the year. And this one was hard-earned.
So familiar with one another. A lot of respect. You see Dukas and Watson talking. Both these teams look like they're ready-made to advance in the NCAA tournament and wear home-colored uniforms. This means a lot to that small school in Moraga. They understand that, and Randy Bennett will tell you, if it wasn't for Gonzaga and their success, that was the pie in the sky. We close the gap. How can you close the gap year after year trying to get it done? This year they win the outright regular season title, and they come to Vegas and they win the outright WCC tournament championship.
And you think about these Gales players, how much it means to all of them, to Randy Bennett. Alex Dukas, this will be his final time that he, unless, who knows, maybe in the Final Four, the Zags and the Gales can meet again, but probably the final time. And St. Mary's comes out on top. A great championship game. It's been a great season in this league.
Aiden Mahaney needed to show up. He asserted himself in the first half. He maintained it in the second half. They dominated on the glass. What a night in Vegas.
Yeah. 69-60 final score for Sean Farnham and our crew. Dave Fleming saying so long. Sports Center with SVP coming up now.